Oprah once said that after interviewing 37,000 people over 25 years, when the interview ended and the camera stopped, the guests would lean in and they'd ask a question that was something similar just like this. Do you think I did okay? Think about that for a second. Even the most famous people in the world, from world-class athletes to global icons, they still wanted reassurance. So if Obama or Beyoncé are asking for reassurance, that tells you something very powerful. We all deal with some sort of self-doubt or imposter syndrome. And if you're a new and emerging leader, and let's say you're stepping into a management role for the first time, or you're walking in to present to senior executives, I bet you felt it too. Look, I know I have, and I still do. Self-doubt and imposter syndrome can be beaten. And I'm here to share with you today the 4-step framework that I've used for over 30 years that's helped me. Welcome to the Learn It All podcast, the show for today's leaders who want to get ahead and stay ahead, because we believe great leaders aren't born or made, they're always in the making. I'm your host, Damon Lembi, 3-time best-selling author and CEO of Learn It, a live learning platform that has helped upskill over 2 million people. Before we get started with the 4-step framework, I want to tell you to stay around to the very end. I have a great gift that I'm giving away. All right, let's get started. Step number 1 for overcoming imposter syndrome, label your fear. You can't overcome something if you won't acknowledge it's there. When I first started with public speaking and doing podcasts, my inner voice would always say to me, do people even care what I have to say? What if I go on stage, fumble my words, embarrass myself? Or even worse, let's say I have a famous podcast guest coming on. What if I just blow it and blow the interview? How awkward and embarrassing is that going to be? So instead of letting those thoughts rattle around in my head for too long, I do what I always do, and I call it purposeful awfulizing. Here's what that is. Think about that situation. Blowing it on stage, doing a terrible job in an interview, and fast forward 1 year. What's the worst case scenario? Maybe I embarrassed myself, things didn't go well. At the end of the day, who cares? It's not like people are going to be sitting around thinking about you all day long. They might think about it for a minute, but then after that, people have their own challenges. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see out there, and I make myself, we care too much about what other people think. We think we're the center of the universe. Well, newsflash, we're not. People have their own lives, and we need to stop thinking that we're so important, get over ourselves, because people have their own challenges. So don't let what other people think of you stop you from going after your dreams. Let's talk about one more example. Let's say that you're a high-performing individual and you get an opportunity to move into management, and you think to yourself, well, what if people don't trust me? And you jump into the role and things don't go well. Fast forward a year, what's the worst case scenario? You have to work harder. Maybe management's not the right thing for you. Maybe you even lose your job. But at the end of the day, I bet you can overcome that as well. And the reward far outweighs the risk. So at that point, what you need to do is label your fear, and it's time to move on to step number 2. Go all in. Going all in starts with committing. Saying yes. Like one of my all-time idols, Sir Richard Branson says, screw it, let's do it. When I first got the call to do a keynote at the Naval Academy, the very first thought that went through my mind is, can I even pull this off? What happens if I completely blow this? But before I let that rattle around in my head for too long, I told that person on the other line, absolutely, yes, let's do it. And that's where going all in starts. And now you got to take it to the next level. And the next level is hard work. There's absolutely no shortcuts when it comes to hard work. Confidence starts by taking action, not the other way around. I'm sure you're going to hear me say this a couple times, but hard work, getting in the reps, that is absolutely critical when it comes to overcoming imposter syndrome. Plain and simple, get the reps in, do the work. For example, if you want to be a great leader, you need to dedicate time to learning and getting out of your comfort zone. Whether that's reading, taking classes, getting a mentor, whatever you need to do, you can't avoid it. You need to jump in, do the work, and get out of your comfort zone and go all in. You need confidence to beat self-doubt and imposter syndrome, and confidence doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. Step number 3, deliberate practice. Working hard is table stakes, but deliberate practice is the secret for growth. An easy example for me to share on this one is podcasting. I love podcasting. I want to be great at podcasting, and I really want to serve my audience. And to do so, you got to do solo episodes. And just like I'm doing right now, when I first started with solo episodes, I would literally practice in front of a screen for hours. It's super uncomfortable to sit here and basically talk to myself into a screen. And not only just practice, but once I started recording, let's say I had a 15-minute episode, I would probably say each line 10 to 20 times each. I would say the same lines over and over and over again until they got better. I honestly felt bad for my editor. So let's look at it from the perspective of leadership. If you want to be a great leader, I wholeheartedly believe you need to be an excellent communicator. And if you aren't a great communicator, then you need to focus and practice in areas like giving feedback, having difficult conversations, sharing your ideas through storytelling, and even getting better at learning how to ask open-ended questions. So in this case, deliberate practice looks like taking classes in those specific skills or role playing with somebody over and over again on feedback or difficult conversations or asking open questions. Whatever it is, just keep getting the reps in until you get better and better at those areas, and then find something else you want to get better at and keep practicing and focus on those. So here's the challenge I have for you. If learning to communicate better and building trust is something that's very important for you, which I'm sure it is, what I want you to do today is find somebody on your team, sit down and ask them 5 or 6 open-ended questions. That's a great way to really practice one of the key skills that I think is totally overlooked: open-ended questions and listening and being curious. That, my friend, is a great exercise for deliberate practice. All right, we're getting near the end here. Step 4 is let go and learn. Let's say it's the day of your big speech, or you're walking into that big conversation with your direct reports, or you're walking into that meeting with the senior executives that you're really dreading. The first thing that I want you to do is I want you to visualize what success looks like. Think about when the meeting's over with and what success looks like and how happy you're going to be. Then I want you to stop thinking about all the techniques and all the role playing that you've done. And it's time to step up to the box and let it all go. Because I want you to remember, think about all the hard work and practice that you put in, and you're prepared. So it's time to simply stop thinking about things, step up to the plate, step on the stage, whatever it is, and simply give it your best because you know that you put in the work and preparation. At the end of the day, it's a great learning opportunity for you, and you will experience growth. Give yourself a pat on the back for going out there and trying. There are all kinds of studies that have shown that when people are nearing the end of their life and they get asked, what are your regrets? Most people don't say that the regrets are the mistakes they made. What they really regret is the opportunities they turned down. So give yourself a pat on the back for sticking your neck out there and getting out of your comfort zone and going for it. So let's recap the 4 steps that we talked about for overcoming imposter syndrome. Number 1, label your fear. Number 2, go all in. Number 3, deliberate practice. And number 4, let go and learn. So here's my challenge for you. What's the one opportunity that you are hesitating on because of imposter syndrome that's holding it back? Is it a promotion you want, but you're too afraid to throw your hat in the ring? Or let's say it's something as simple as you want to be more active on LinkedIn and you're afraid to get your message out there. What I want you to do, I want you to start with labeling your fear. And once you realize that, yeah, you could totally overcome that, then move on to step number 2 and just go for it. And here we are at the end. And what I mentioned earlier is I got a great gift for you. For you and up to 20 members of your team, 45 days of free live learning at Learn It. And whether you want to learn the skills we talked about today, whether it's giving feedback, having difficult conversations, or maybe you just want to get better at using AI, go to learnit.com/free. That's learnit.com/free, or click the link in the show notes. You'll find it there. Please take advantage of it. It's a great way to get going on your deliberate practice. And before we go, can you please do me a favor? If you haven't already, please rate and review the Learn It All podcast on whatever your favorite platform is. I would really appreciate it. And until next time, everybody, stay curious, keep learning. Have a great day. Goodbye.